Welcome everybody to another Behind the Name. I'm your boy Boo Dilla.
Chris J. Ron in the building.
And we have a legendary show today for you guys. This guy is one of the CEOs and the beginner of the whole Chicago footwork culture. He was one of the members that started the Untouchables. Well, the person that actually started the Untouchables. Legendary UphiU. If y'all know, y'all about to know right now. If y'all don't know, I got my brother Darnell, Payne. Welcome, my brother.
So much. Thank you so much. So honored to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for being here and sharing your jewels with us. So, man, I don't want to waste no time because I know we got a lot to discuss about. So, I want to start off, as always, from the beginning. You know, what started you off in the culture?
Well, let's go back.
Let's
go back to 1984. And there was a different time that we were living in then. And I was kind of one of those people that my mom didn't let me go outside. It wasn't no hanging out. It wasn't no this, that, and the other. I lived right around the area where the Woodlawn organization, TWO, if you know, you know, back when the O'Rookins and the Vice Lords and all of that had really turned into an organization. And it was like either you were that or you wasn't. And my mom wasn't having it. She was just like, no, you're not going to get caught up in that, this, that, and the other. And I've always been like the strange kid. I was always the weirdo. I was always the one that did things differently. And so she was like, you know, we're going to use, you know, I could sing a little bit. I could dance a little bit. She's like, I'm going to keep you occupied. So she kept me in things. She kept me in talent shows. But at first, I was a huge breakdance fan. I was really into breakdancing. You wouldn't believe it now, but I used to be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? I was in it. And I was in a footwork crew called Chi-Town Rockers. And footworking was phasing. I mean, breakdance was phasing out. And I had got a taste of house music before the footworking, you know, or whatever we call them footworking now. People used to say they used to jack, you know, even back to far there, jack your body and those old songs. And people move their feet, but it wasn't as developed as it is now. So when I caught on to that, like the first time I saw it, I just was like, man, what is this? You know, I go back to Club Music World. I go back to Sawyer's. I go back to the Bismarck Hotel. I go back to the Underground when it was under Wacker. I was a 16, 17-year-old sneaking in the clubs when I wasn't old enough to be there. And Ron Hardy and you know, all of that type of music, you know. And whenever they had speeded up like the house music, it had a vibe. And people were like, you know, we jack your body. You know, people just, you know, they getting their little vibe off. They doing their thing. And I came back from the north side to the south side. And in 84, believe it or not, I was in like 6th, 7th grade. And we had a talent show. And I thought that we were killing it. You know, I was bringing this whole look, this whole vibe. You know, we was doing it. Bombed. People hated it. They didn't understand where I was coming from. They didn't do it at all. It was awful. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like literally booed off the stage.
Dang.
Yeah, literally like, what is this? Get it out of here. What is this crazy stuff? And I just, even when they were booing, I was still like, this is it. You know, y'all catch up, you know? And by the time I left throughout 6th grade and 7th grade, 8th grade, I was already like dancing in the talent shows, doing little Michael Jackson routines. You know, I caught some of my friends and everything. So by the time I got into 8th grade, like January of 8th grade, a group of friends of mine got together and was like, you know, we're going to form this group. It was a talent show coming up. We're going to do this. And it was like, okay, so what's going to be our name? Well, can't nobody touch us. We the Untouchables. You know what I'm saying? So we rocked out with it. We brought it back. We revamped it. We learned some routines. We were putting like little fraternity steps and all of this type of stuff into it. And we won. And that's all it took. Once we won, it was no stopping me, man. By the time I got to high school, I went to Curie, kind of on the west side, southwest side of Chicago. And by the time I walked in the door as a freshman, I already had 30 or 40 dancers that were with me. We came down the hallway. People knew who we were. We had already been on television. We had already did the Billiken Parade. We had already did some of the local talent shows. So I walked into high school where usually people are messing with you or whatever. I walked in as already kind of local celebrity.
Right.
I met up with some really cool guys, man. Teddy Hinton and all these other Raymond and Mario Johnson, and these are guys. They're older than me by 5-6 years, and we were going to Saint Sabina parties and Leo parties and all these other little parties or whatever, and other groups started combining. Like they would hook up with us, and that evolved from the Untouchables to Together We Jack. TWJ.
Right.
So we kept switching names. There it is again. So TWJ came in. Boy, get out my face. Don't have children. Get away from me. Move. So anyway, we came together as TWJ, and all of a sudden, neither one of our parents, the guys that were from the west side, their parents wouldn't let them come out south. We were from the south side. My mom wouldn't let us go out west. So those brothers broke off and became TWJ, and they went out west. We all had each other's blessings. There was no problem. We still had 3-4 years of high school to do together. But when we came together, the Untouchables and Feminique, there were like girl groups. When we all came together and combined, we were TWJ, Together We Jack. 4 or 5 dance groups together made Together We Jack. They took their name and went west, and they became their own independent dance group. But you have people now saying, I'm TWJ. You weren't truly TWJ unless you were in Curie between 1986 and 1990. You had to fit within that. Now, your buddies might have came out west, and you might have joined up with TWJ on the west side, and that's cool. Y'all are our brothers too. But if you did not go to Curie High School between the years of 86 and 1990, you were not TWJ. Because TWJ was 4 or 5 different groups that all came into one. So that's kind of the origin. That's where it all started from. It just started from a time when there was a lot going on. Gangs were very prevalent in the times. And my mama just was not having it. She was not doing the gang mess with me. Even when I was older, 16, 17, going to the Hummingbird on 87th and Ashland and Club Music World and those type of joints. The party started at 8. Curfew was at 11. Most people didn't get to a party to 9:30, 10 o'clock. My mama said I had to be in the house at 11. So that means I got in the party at 9 and I had to leave at 10:30. So as you all can imagine, I stayed on punishment and got a lot of whoopings.
All the time.
The party was busting. It was just starting. But my mama was the mother that would come to the party and come to the front door. And all of a sudden, I know y'all not that young. My mama was the one that the DJ would say, uh-oh, Darnell Payne, your mama at the door. And she'd be out there with the belt in her hand, whooping me out the door. But, yeah.
So, bro, the Untouchables was from the South Side, correct?
The Untouchables were from the South Side. We were from 65th and Drexel. We were from Cottage Grove to Greenwood. The vacant lots. We would get together in the vacant lots. There was a barbershop on 64th and Cottage, Mr. Coleman's Barbershop. And Mr. Coleman, rest in peace, he just passed away recently. He supported us, man. He gave us our first uniforms. My mom sold them on her own sewing machine. He sold seed. He put money. When we came and performed, he would pay us $100. $100 in 84, 85 was big money.
A lot of money, right?
Right. I'm broke now. It was just the first. I just paid all my bills. So $100 is big money to me right now. But in 84, it was huge, But that was a group of 9 guys, Aries and Tony Mitchell. And it's a DJ out right now named Lee Kirby. I don't know if this will ever hit his ears, but he lived across the street from me, and he would bring out his DJ equipment out on Miss Mary, rest in peace. Miss Mary was his mom. He would bring his DJ equipment outside and start playing music, and we would just get into the streets, man. We would put on full performances and full shows at 13 on our block, because that was either you did that or you were selling drugs and gangbanging. Period. Those are the only two options.
Yeah, because like I said, I've heard of the Untouchables, but I don't know why I always thought that they was on the west side. They started on the west side because of TWJ.
That's what it was.
Mention that, yeah.
And like I said, Teddy and those guys, Walter Hinton, we call him Teddy. His mom was like my mom. It was like, I don't know you, and you're not finna be catching the bus all the way out to the south side, because he was born and raised on the west side, and I was born and raised on the south side. And he came out south a couple times with us, and he got in trouble because he's supposed to been back. And when those guys took that stuff out back out west, it blew up huge. A matter of fact, I want to believe that the dance stuff blew out bigger on the west side first, before the south side. From what I know. You know, I can only speak for myself, because I'm not even considered south side. I'm considered east side. I was on by Cottage Grove.
Right.
So I didn't know. Just like when I came up with a group and we went big, or what I thought we went mainstream, I always thought we were the only people that was doing this. We finally got booked for a show that was on the southwest side, and that's where I saw Ronnie from House-O-Matic. And man, it was the Regal Theater. It was a group out called Future 3. And man, these brothers, they had on like the one-piece zip-up suits, and they came out on dollies, like the refrigerator moving dollies with the straps around them. And when the music came on, they started animating and coming out. You couldn't tell me nothing. Man, I mean, I was in awe of these guys. But I didn't even know they existed until I left the other side of State Street to find out that there was a whole nother entity. There was a whole nother world of dancers that I didn't even know existed. So people sit back and they go back and forth. Who was first? House-O-Matic, UphiU, this, that, Together We Jack did it. If you were on Marshfield, like where House-O-Matic was, you didn't come on Cottage Grove. Or if you were on Drexel and Cottage Grove, you didn't go on Marshfield. It was just unheard of. People were segregated to their area.
Exactly. Yep.
So we did shows at Hyde Park Career Academy. We did shows at Jackson Park Fieldhouse. We did shows at the Lakefront. We did shows at Holy Cross, which used to sit on 65th and Maryland. All our shows were within our neighborhood, from Cottage Grove to Stony Island, from 63rd to probably 79th. And I thought at that point, the world just dropped off. I didn't know anything else was around, including any other dance groups.
Right. No, I mean, I can kind of touch on that, because I felt the same way when it came down to the south suburbs. Like, I didn't know that the south suburbs even danced until I actually went to Markham Fieldhouse, and then I was exposed to like every other dance group there is. So I can kind of, see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
Now, where did UphiU start?
Okay. We caught up with some brothers that were from Chicago State. They were Alpha Phi Alphas.
Okay.
They had a big step show. And what a lot of people don't know about the Untouchables or UphiU or however they want to go, we didn't start out as a footwork crew. We didn't start out doing footwork. We took R&B songs and made up dance routines to it. We thought we were the sexiest things that ever happened. And when the music sped up, we did fraternity steps. We stepped. That was our whole thing. We got in line behind each other, and we did that. One of the alphas felt like we were disrespecting the fraternity order. Y'all can't step. Y'all can't. We like, man, we can do whatever we want to do.
Right.
And they beat us. Boop. They beat us. It was a full-fledged fight. But because we didn't give up and we didn't run and we wasn't no punks, one of the guys like, man, leave them shorties alone. Them our shorties. That's our brother club. Y'all the Untouchables. Y'all UPhi, whatever. We A-Phi, y'all UPhi. UPhiU.
UphiU.
8x8, UphiU. Could never legally patent it, could never do anything with it legally, but it was an honor when you got a fraternity to say that. And just like that, just from that one encounter at a show at Chicago State, we did a full tour throughout college campuses. There's a time in college life, somewhere around January, February, right before finals, when every school has these big events to just blow off steam before or after testing.
Okay.
They began to take us from school to school. And this our little brothers, you know, we get out there, we nasty little boys. You know, we was grown. We out there rolling, we out, and the older girls going crazy, you know what I'm saying? Later on, we couldn't drive back, so we had to spend the night. We get a chance to see a little of this and a little of that. We thought we were superstars. It really gave us that feeling like we were these huge stars, man. And it was just an awesome time in life, you know. But the name UphiU comes from, I cannot think, I think his name was Mark. I think his name was either Mark or Marcus. And in the middle of this fight at Chicago State, he walked out and was like, man, leave these shorties alone. They ain't trying to hurt nobody. These shorties, you know what I'm saying? And he picked us up and we got his number. And from that point on, man, he blew our name up throughout the whole college scene. And we did that for about 3 years. I would leave Curie on a Friday, get into all of our raggedy cars or steal our parents' car when they went to sleep and drive down to Illinois State or to the cab or whatever, and then do the show. And as soon as the music stopped, jump back on the highway and try to put the car back before your parents woke up and realized that the car was
gone.
That's love, man. Hey, that's a journey right there.
That is,
fill up that tank back.
We didn't have no cars, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We didn't have any of that stuff. You know, things weren't accessible to us the way they are now. It was a rough road. It wasn't, you know, people have dance studios now. I'm like, oh, you have a dance studio. No, man, we danced in the vacant lot with broken glass and bricks. You know what I'm saying? We 40, 50 down in basements, crowded down there, just trying to be seen, because back then you had to audition to perform at the show. So if your dance wasn't up to par, you couldn't participate. So that's how it went.
So what was your because I know now you and Ronnie are like brothers, you know what I'm saying? But back then though.
Right. Who was your
I want to know how it was back then though, when y'all first, what was y'all first encounter with each other?
When I first
to UphiU.
He had a carefree curl that was so juicy. And I had a pump that was so juicy. We were both presidents, young presidents. I didn't like this dude. I'm like, who did this dude think he is? You know, who this dude think he is with his little group? You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
I didn't like him. I was a vice lord. He was a GD.
So it was gang, like more money gang related.
Yeah, I didn't like this dude. I didn't understand this dude at all. Like, who do he think he is? We UphiU, house of what? You know? The tension got so bad that one day we realized that either we had to get it together or it was gonna really get bad, because it was opposing gangs, and so when we really listened to each other, when we really started talking to each other, we hit it off like that. But in the beginning, I'm not gonna sit up here and try to make it seem like, well, when I first met him, we were no. I'm like, man, who did this dude think he is? We are the main dance group, you know. And then we became fast friends and close friends because Mama Sloan, today's her birthday, rest in heavenly peace, Mama Sloan, who is Ronnie's mom. I don't even think she knew what kids belonged to her, who was her kids, or it was so many of us in that crib, man. 6040 South Marshfield was my first opportunity to have freedom that we could do. Now, I'm not saying she let us do whatever, because when she whooped butt, Everybody, Ronnie, David, Dave, Courtney, she didn't care if you was her kid or not. She would say, stop running in and out that door, slamming that door. But the door was one of them doors that just slammed, you know.
Right. They get past that.
And if it had the little springy thing on it, so it bang. When she came out that room, boy, everybody scattered because you would get a whooping. If you got beat.
Right.
Papa Sloan had a long Cadillac that was parked outside. Papa Sloan, rest in peace. He fixed on cars, but he had this Cadillac that sat right in front of their crib, man. I have slept in that car. This is dance group history. I have slept in that car because I knew I missed curfew, and I knew if I went home, I was going to get beat or I was going to be on punishment for a while. So I'm going to stay out. If I'm going to get in trouble anyway, might as well go with a smile. I'm out here now.
Enjoy your night.
Enjoy your night, because you know it's going to get cracking when you get home. But the bond between Housematic and UphiU got so real because what I found out was they already had this huge following Southwest. All these, when them guys, let me take my glasses off. When those guys used to hit the stage, and because of what they were doing, because there were guys from Housematic that were already on the West Side, they were allowed to have a little more room and freedom than I did. And they were coming back doing Holy Ghost and rolling their heads around and pulling their pants down. And I'm just like, what is that? What is that? So we would get on the stage and we were a little more like, you know, step. And people were like, oh, that's cute. They're little steppers. But these guys would get on the stage and their hands down their jogging pants while ghosting, pull their pants down to their knees and roll their head around 15 times, crowd going crazy. I used to say, this dude used to invite me to these shows just to show me up. I used to think, because they used to they wouldn't let Housematic or UphiU perform early in the show, because if we performed near the beginning of your show, when we got through performing, the show would walk out. People would just leave. You know what I'm saying? So they always saved us for last. And because Housematic had even a bigger name and following than we did, they made us go before Housematic. And I was grateful, because I was like, if they go before us, it's over with.
Yeah.
You know. So we got real good. We got real close. And then we both migrated east to Jackson Park Fieldhouse. Okay. Because like I said, Ronnie them performed and practiced right outside of their house, right outside 6040, right in the street. It was grimy back then. You got it in where you can get it in. And at some point, I was a park counselor. I was a day camp counselor at Jackson Park, and we met Tommy Davison. People don't know names like this, but there's a man who used to be the supervisor of the park district named Tommy Davison. And man, he was everybody's daddy. Just like Mama Sloan was everybody's mom. Tommy Davison was there, and he was just the park supervisor. But if you got out of line, he'd take you down instead, and he'd beat you. He'd get you. If your mama told you wasn't doing right, he'd get you. But he'd also let us practice in the park. And people didn't take chances on that. They didn't know if it was going to be a fight. They didn't know if it was going to be a liability. They didn't know what it was going to be. So they wasn't letting people in their park. And the park had two big rooms, one on one side, one on the other side. Housematic was on one side of the building. UphiU was on the other side of the building. Now check this out. R. Kelly and his singers and stuff would be in the gym hooping. Tongue Twister, the rapper Tongue Twister, would be in the building, you know, South Shore Cultural Center. We used to open up for those guys, and, you know, it was a lot of talent that all was in that building throughout the 90s, the early 90s. And Ronnie and I were close. We were like brothers. They started doing like Scarface concerts, and man, everybody, Al Heaton production, you hear it on the radio, featuring Housematic. One week I have 35, 40 people in my practice. Next week I'd have 12. I'm like, is this dude still in my dancers? But as I got older, I started realizing that any teenager that was looking at it like, be an alternative to drugs and gangs and do all the nicey shows, or go hit these big stages with Scarface. And I mean, if you named it, they were on stages with every major star at that time. Every major star. Hell, I wanted to leave UphiU and go down. I wanted to go down. I wanted to go to House-O-Matic. So we became brother clubs. And back then, that was, you had a brother club. That means you all were two separate groups, but we were brothers. So there was no bickering and stuff like that. But man, I kept noticing like some of my raw dances. I mean, we said we was gonna keep it real. Yeah. I kept some of my best dancers, some of my coldest dancers. They just wouldn't show up on Saturday morning at 10. And I would begin to hit through the grapevine like, man, they over there with House-O-Matic. And that caused the problem. Let's just be real. It hurt my feelings. You know, I'm like, after all I've done for you. Yeah. But as time went on again, I had to come to a point of understanding what my purpose was. And my purpose wasn't the big mega stars or the big stage. Even though I've had my fair share of big stages, it goes back to what I do today. I mean, I'm the dean of an alternative high school now. My dream was always to find something else to do to keep us out of trouble, to keep us off the street, to keep us from getting killed. We couldn't save everybody, but man, look at all the ones that we were able to save. Right. And even though I didn't get a chance to touch some of those big stages, and even though I wasn't able to get my group into some of those big shows then, it was so many people, man, that really became like amazing people, you know, and they tell me to this day, like, man, if you wasn't telling me like I couldn't go here and I couldn't do that or I couldn't do this, that I probably been dead today. So I still feel like I met my goal, I met my quota, you know.
What gave you that drive back then? Like, what gave you that? You know, because you was younger, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, with the mindset you got now, you didn't have that then. But what kept your motor going for dance?
Do you know that really weird kid that when they little and they just can't stop moving?
Right.
You know, I was that kid. You would come in my room, man, and I got the cover tied around my neck. I got my pajamas pulled up. I got just, man, the belt. Yeah. I always felt like I was supposed to be a star. I always felt like I was gonna be somebody important. You know, my mom teases me about a picture. I drew a picture, man, of a limousine that was a whole block long, and my driver had to get out and get on his bike to come back to the back of the car to see what I wanted. And I had to be in 3rd, 4th grade. She has this picture to this day. It's always been in me. I was that precocious kid. I was that outgoing kid. I was born in the 70s. We were that kid, and some of y'all gonna know this too. You're gonna laugh when I say it. But I was that kid that when your mama and your aunties them came over, and they'd be like, get out there and do your dance. Where the other kids would get mad. No, it was showtime.
Right. My
stuff.
All of that.
Right.
You know, that was me. And it's always been me. It's me to this day, man. I go hard, you know. It's a gift and a curse at the same time, but it's always been me, Bo. It's always been my desire to be somebody. I always wanted people to know my name. I always wanted them to know who I was. And I've been like that since a kid, and I'm still that way to this day. You know, I got on glasses, I got on sparkly glasses to this day. You know, it's just my vibe. It's who I've always been.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I wanna also state too, as far as I know I hear a lot of people say, oh yeah, he mean, but I feel that was because it was needed for the structure and to have a certain foundation. So I wanted to speak on what was some of the structure that you enforced to make sure.
Back when I was a shorty, I went to CYC Center on Lake Street on the west side. It was called CYC. And no matter what was going on in the building, Pastor Ratchet was his name. He would walk out into the middle of the room and he would go 3, 2, 1. And by the time you got to 1, you need to be sitting down on your butt. And the kids that came from at the CYC Center were from the projects up and down Lake Street. So there was like these, there was a lot of, they fed us, they did this. It was a Christian Youth Center was what it was called. My grandma was an evangelist and, you know, she drove us all the way from the south side to the west side to be part of CYC Center. And after hearing, it was so powerful to hear this one man be able to come out and say those 3 numbers and stop a whole building. So immediately, once I started training dancers, I immediately put that into my formula. If I said 3, 2, 1, you still talking, get out. Because you didn't respect what I was trying to do. You didn't respect it. The first thing you got taught when you entered UphiU, first thing you got taught at the first practice was, if you hear 3, 2, 1, all eyes on me and shut your mouth. Because if you could do what I could do, go do it. Do your own group. But in here, when I say 3, 2, 1, and if you don't, get out. Mm-hmm. And it kept us. It kept us for 22 active years of performing throughout. I could say, if there's a UphiU person on this chat right now, if I say a 3, 2, 1, subconsciously they would stand up straight. And I've seen dance groups throughout time, you know, implement that same 3, 2, 1 count, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. When we came through, it felt militant. We everybody got their arms down, everybody upright. We walking through, you know, because people judged us too quickly. They thought we were nothing. They thought we were trash. They thought we were low life. You know what I'm saying? So when I entered the building, I wanted them to see that these were young, Black, talented people, and I didn't want to be judged for just being young. I didn't want to be judged just for being Black. I didn't want to be judged just from where I was from. We was poor. We wasn't poor. We was poor. You know, food stamps, commodity cheese, block of butter, poor. Right. But I didn't, and this, please don't take this as a racist situation, because I'm far from that. But my mama told me, you don't embarrass me in front of them white folks. And we're Filipino and Black. But that was ingrained in me. And in everything that I've done, it was always present yourself at the highest caliber that you could present yourself. So when you walk in a room in Chicago, if you walk in a room in Japan, if you walk in a room in Germany, let it enter the room with you. Let your aura and your spirit enter the room with you. If you're dancing, if you're singing, whatever you putting yourself to, when you enter the room, make sure that energy enters the room with you. So I can't be anything else to you. When I'm preaching, I am an elder at a church. I'm a dean of a high school. When I walk in the room, you can feel me coming without even hearing me coming, because there's an energy that every person has in their core. And if you don't exude that energy, just like a footworker or a DJ, DJs amaze me, man, because how can you take these records and take these sounds and something happens in your mind and something happens in your spirit. And when I see them DJing and I see them doing this, it's just like when I catch the Holy Ghost at church. It's just like when the Spirit of God come down on me and I start shouting and dancing. There's an energy that comes from it. And any DJ that I don't feel that energy from, they booty. I'm done. I don't even want to listen to it no more.
Yep. I've been speaking on that for so long, bro. Like for forever. Like if you don't get that, that soul, that if that beat, if that 808 don't hit you the way it, you know what I mean? Like DJ ain't doing it right.
I see DJ Clint Box down there. Clint was 13, living on 39th Street in a high rise on 39th Street. And I used to collect those little cassettes, you know, DJ Clint, this, that, and the other. And I used to use them in my practice because there was a sound, there was an energy. His music never sounded lazy to me.
Yep.
What other people don't know was I had DJ Gatman, was UphiU. DJ Pancho, who coined the front juke, was UphiU and could dance his butt off, by the way. But what inspired me with all three of those guys were they were young, they were underrated. All the old heads would make room for these young guys, but they had the sauce. They had something that some of the older, more experienced DJs, because of their pride and ego, you would see people like Clint, Pancho, Gantman, Young, then sweat it through their shirt because they connected to the energy that was in the room. And as the footwork got faster and you would see people whip themselves to death. They just going crazy, whip, whip. And as that energy sped up and as that energy grew, the DJ, man, we'd be in there going crazy. But we weren't able, people step away from the DJ and they put all the accolades on themselves as dancers. Guess what, dancer? If you didn't have a soundtrack to your dancing would suck butt. But every time one of those DJs came out with this stuff that they were able to pull out of their brain, which I cannot comprehend. I'm not musically inclined like that. That's what made your feet move like that. That's what made you go harder from the music that they gave. And even to this day, there's people, you know, there's some people, I don't want to keep talking about Clint, but I'm seeing Beat Down in the background. I still don't think that he gets the
credit he's supposed to get. I said the same thing, bro.
I was in an event, and I don't want to take up too much time, but I hosted an event maybe a week or two ago. I was trying to advertise our school and get enrollment up for our school. So I took the microphone. I had been asked out by Will Gillespie, who's an amazing guy. You know, that's my brother. That's my soul white brother. But when I got into the building, DJ Clint's son, Corey, who was like 15, he's been DJing for years already, was the DJ. I know he knows who I am, but he doesn't owe me anything. He's 15.
Right.
He was so professional, man. He was so on point with what he's supposed to be doing. At 15, man, I'm still out here. I'm doing stupid stuff at 15.
Right.
He put on a double Dutch bus track, and I don't know if it was his track, or I don't know if it was somebody else's track, but he beat that double Dutch track, man, that he just started. I'm on the mic going crazy. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. His gift fed into my gift, and it created a moment. It created a moment in time because our energies was able to connect. And footworkers, dancers, whatever you want to call yourself, if you can't find that connection inside of that beat, and if you can't find that energy inside of that beat, you suck. No matter how many shows you do, no matter how great you think you are, if that core energy is still not in your spirit, you suck. Period.
Yeah.
I said it.
That's why, that's like, you notice when there's like when Clint do the low end reunion, you notice it's like a certain amount of people of the you know, the dance culture, you know, comes. You know what I'm saying? And you'll think it'll be the new generation, some of the new generation. You'll think that they'll come. You know what I'm saying? Just to learn, you know what I'm saying? Just to pretty much learn. Uh-oh. What happened?
Just to learn. But
no, Darnell, I just saw his what's in that. He gonna have to log back in. I just saw his screen just go out.
Okay, you probably gotta log back in.
Yeah.
Because he was on the computer, so it could have two things could happen: either log out by the internet or could have pressed the button to disconnect. But at the meantime, let me see. Hold on.
Yeah, check. Sorry guys, let us try to get Darnell back on.
And it said error on my thing. Hold on 1 second. Let me see what's the.
I'm texting him now.
Oh, okay, you send the message. All right, cool.
The message now.
And then you just log right back in. But yeah, that's definitely a big difference between soul food and a TV dinner.
I've been, bro. I'm trying to tell you, bro. But
food, I mean, they both food, but I don't know. It just digests.
That full course meal, boy. I'm trying to tell you.
They don't have a clue. They don't have a clue.
They don't, man. And it bothers me. It bothers me a lot to, you know what I'm saying? And that's just like for instance, like this show. You would think that this show should be, the numbers should be up. Like the numbers, we should be having 100 people on this. You know what I'm saying? Trying to figure out the history and, you know what I'm saying? Learn. There you go right now.
It's not like that, bro, because, can you hear me? It's not like that because everybody is so self-centered and don't want to share no type of spotlight or share no type of, you understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because it's your platform or you and J. Ron's platform and it's not this person's, you know what I'm saying?
Yep, I get it.
And this Chicago platform.
Right, it's for the culture. It's really truly for the culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
Darnell,
that's why I try to log in every time.
And that's Clint.
All right, there you go. We back. Sorry guys. You know,
I apologize, man. My kids are bugs, man. they won't cash app. They won't lift. They won't.
You
man,
can't have your time.
Don't have kids.
They waited till you had it.
Children. Golly.
They wait till you sit down.
They're watching me. They're watching me on this thing and calling me. Jesus.
Yeah, but no, you hit it on the head. But what I wanted to ask you was, so what took you from being a dancer to becoming a minister?
Like I said, in the beginning, I was that church kid. And I know that God had a calling on my life at 6. And I ran from it. I was sick of church. I went to church every day, man. Helen Fields lived across to, I did marry Clinton, his wife. That was special. That was an honor. But anyway, I'm gonna come back to that. When I was a shorty, it was none of this house music and popping and whipping, and they wasn't having that from me. I was supposed to be a minister at 6. But I met a woman that lived across the street from us on Drexel again, who I refer to as my grandmother. And her name was Helen Fields. And she told me, you can love God and live your life at the same time. And she used to sneak me out and allow me to do my thing, even though her mother was Mother Barnes. I don't know if you guys go back that far, but there was an older woman who used to go to the Cook County Jail and cook for the inmates and take them cakes at holidays, take pound cakes to the holidays and all of that. Those my people. But I came from Church of God in Christ. When you ain't no dancing, ain't no secular music, ain't no dressing like this, ain't no that. So as soon as I got 16, they told me that in the Bible, when you were 11 and 12, you were an adult. But in my household, once you turned 16, you were able to make your own decisions. Boy, I got tattoos.
You went crazy.
I went crazy, bro. I wanted nothing to do with church. I was sick of church. My mom used to send us down in the summers to Hayti, Missouri, where my grandmother, Elizabeth Rhodes, was also a very strong mentor and church person. And she was connected to the church to the point that we were at church every day. On Sundays, we went early in the morning. We didn't get home till dark. 3-4 services a day. So I've always loved God. I've always had a deep relationship with God. I've always felt like God protected me, even when we were on streets, even when we were getting chased to school buses. Before every performance, we held hands and prayed. My dance group, we held hands and prayed before every performance, before we left the field house, before the bus took off, we prayed for safety and this, that, and the other. So for about 12 to 13 years of my life, I was out here in these streets, man, in them, doing everything that I shouldn't have been doing. I tell people sometimes I tried everything but cocaine. I was out here. And God protected me. He kept me, man. He kept me from hurt, harm, and danger. I've had people to be shot standing next to me. I have held people as they've died in my arms, man. And I only know that it was from those women. Helen Fields, Mother Consuela York, Elizabeth Rhodes. I'm gonna leave somebody else out. That's why I don't like to name names. But if it wasn't those praying women, them praying mamas, them praying grandmamas, I'd have been gone a long time ago. So after I lost 16 friends within a year, I kept feeling like I was gonna be next. I didn't know it was gonna be violence. I didn't know if it was gonna be disease. I didn't know what was gonna happen. Because like I said, I was out here doing everything. You know, there's a lot of times that people want to say, yeah, I heard about Darnell. Yeah, if you heard about it, it probably was right. No lies told. Because after having such a young spiritual background, when I got a taste of life, when I got a taste of alcohol, when I got a taste of weed, when I got a taste of sex, when I got a taste of whatever I was tasting, it tasted good. People sit back and lie and make you think that sin is all bad. No, no, no. Take it from the first elder who's probably willing to say it publicly. Everything about sex and this and that and drugs and all that wasn't bad. It wasn't as bad as people try to make it seem. A lot of it was really, really fun. Even though we don't supposed to do it, even though that it's classified as sin, this, that, and the other. When I was out in the world sinning, I had a good time. When I came in the party shut down. I was coming in with the weed and the drinks and the girls and the boys and everything that they had to offer. I had it, and I had it in abundance. If I walk out the house right now, my nephews and my sons and my brothers who live in the house with me to this day, it's 8 of us in this house right now. We will beat you. You know what I'm saying? So when I go in church, when I go to churches and do funerals and stuff, I'm never allowed to be alone. But I've never felt alone because I always felt like God had my back anyway. I ain't scared to go nowhere. I'll go to the projects. I'll go because I pray first. And I know right now I'm over at Elevate Worship Center, 7023 South Halsted. And it's such a real experience, Bo, because church people always try to condemn you. They always try to. Church people are some of the worst people ever. And I'm going to get in trouble for this, and I don't care. But church people are horrible. A lot of them are horrible people. They judge, and they want to talk about you. And what they doing that footwork stuff for. They not stealing out your house. They're not breaking in your car. So there's a new rise of ministers. There's a new rise of religion that God put us on here, and he gave us all of this stuff so we can enjoy life. God don't want us broke and beat down. People say, well, you shouldn't wear that. Well, you need to go get you a Jesus robe and some Jesus sandals. Get your toes out when you telling people what they cannot wear and what's the sin. And the Bible says you can't mix fabrics. You can have polyester and linen on at the same time. You know, it's an abomination. But if you want to be that religious about it, go get you a Jesus robe. Go get you some sandals with the toes out. So now I'm standing to say, for every footworker, for every DJ, for every dancer, you ain't going to hell for dancing. You're not going to hell for enjoying your life. Pay your tithes. Pray. Believe in something. Don't kill nobody and try to do the best you can. Try to be a better person every day. I'm trying to be better today than I was yesterday. And then tomorrow I'm gonna try to be better than I was today. And that's what God desired. When you sit up here lying, there are so many religious leaders that are fornicating and doing drugs and doing this and doing that, and then they point the finger at you. I want to pray for you. But if y'all going out of state, I want to pray for you before you go. Pray protection over your life to make sure that you come back here better than what you was before you left. And I'm gonna leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go too deep, but I just it makes me mad to know that we serve a God that can do anything but fail, and people are turning him to a God of hate and put down and destroying people's character. When you look up the disciples, people call themselves GDs and gangster disciples, but the disciples that rode out with Jesus, they wasn't having it. They were some of the roughest Negroes you ever want to run across in life. And when somebody disrespect Jesus, they cut their ear off and beat them up. People don't tell you that in the Bible, do that? So we need to really learn sometimes that we let's operate in ourselves. Let's try to be better people. Let's try to be kind to one another. And that's what makes me want to be in a couple weeks I'm actually being elevated and I'm going to another level in religion. But you can still walk up to me. I'm still Darnell Payne. I'm not gonna be floating around off my feet. I'm holy. I'm not an angel. I'm Darnell, and I'm still gonna have my flaws. But God loves me enough that he's gonna love me flaws and all. And I'm gonna raise up these other young people, man, and I'm gonna let them know that God loves them too. And I'm not gonna let people bash them and beat them down and tear them down. I'm gonna show them what's right. We're gonna get together, we're gonna kick it. But God had a plan for my life young. And I'm just here to say that if he did it for me, he could do it for you too.
For everybody else. Yeah.
That's real.
I agree. Let's go into these questions. I know people are like super geek to even ask you some of, you know what I'm saying, what they need or what they want to been wanting to ask you. So if y'all are if you new on here, if y'all new to the show, if you got a question, just type it in the chat. Me and J-Ron will read it off to them, as well as the people that's on Facebook Live. If y'all want to ask a question, do the same thing. Put it in the chat, and me and J-Ron will read it off to our Darnell. So y'all can go ahead and shoot all them questions. Go ahead, make rapid fire. Let's go. Oh, what's that? All right, let's go with the questions.
Don't be scared.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to give people some time to type because I know they sometimes.
I ain't talking about y'all know we chopped it up already. It's like a lot of people they be like, man, I ain't finna mess with that man. He crazy. I am.
But expound on I see that you had married Clint and his wife.
Yeah.
It was an honor. It was an honor, man. It was an honor. I've been knowing this man since he was a kid. And I tell people all the time, I can marry you and I can bury you. And some people be like, did he just threaten me? Yeah, a little bit. But Clint has always kept it real. If he didn't like it, he'll tell you his booty. If he didn't like something you did, he gonna tell you. And so even though we don't hang with each other every day, you know, I don't go in his house, he don't come in mine. We're not that type of friends. I got so much respect for that man because he's never changed. He's never changed up on me. I've never heard him say nothing bad about me, even though he probably did, because, you know, Clint can be a butthole when he wants to. But he's never disrespected me, you know what I'm saying? Right. And when I saw an opportunity to be able to be there for him, I wanted him to know that I love him. I've loved him since he was a kid. I've loved him like my brother, even though he's a lot younger brother than me. And for me to be able to do that for him and marry him and his wife, be able to put them together, it's one of the things that I remember most about being a minister. I married DJ Clint.
Facts.
So we got let me start this off for Boo Dilla, since he was having name. So we got all right, Corona says, what are your thoughts on the way that many different organizations are operating now.
Ooh. All
Right.
right. Okay. Okay. So here we go.
Yep.
Okay. There are some that are doing amazing things, man. They took these kids on TV. They've took them around the world. They performing. They made celebrities out of them. And then there's some of these people, man, that need to be in jail. They need to be locked up for the games that they playing. And they know who they are. Me naming names just start a whole bunch of internet mess. And if you think I'm talking about you, inbox me when this is over and I'll tell you if I was or wasn't. But there has been so many thieves, sexual predators, liars, and deceivers that you didn't understand how it was important that these kids' lives were in your hands. And they looked up to you and they admired you so much that you molded them into something that they wasn't even destined to be. You destroyed families and you destroyed lives. And I'm so glad that my youngest is 26 right now. And I have a 14-year-old little sister right now that I'm in her life, like, important. I'm big bro. And I break one of you niggas' necks for the stuff that y'all pull right now with these kids. And if you're a parent and you got your kids in these groups and you stupid enough not to go in these practices and see what's going on with your child, and you letting your young child go up in these people's house and do anything that you don't allow in your own house, shame on you, parent. They'd be so mad and they got so much stuff to talk about somebody else and what somebody did to their kid. Where were you? Where were you? When I was young and I wanted to spend the night over somebody else's house, my mama allowed me to stay over there long enough till it was bedtime, and she would put my coat on me with my pajamas and take me home. Because she said she never knew what the other person in that house may do. They might have had a crazy uncle, or they might have had a rapey daddy, or this, that, and the other. I'm like, but I'm a boy. And mama said, you think people don't rape boys? They mess with that money like it's their money. They got 9 million people. Now, let me make sure that people understand this. If you're running an organization and you're running a dance school where fees need to be paid, these lights don't run on footwork or whatever what are they doing now? The J-Set or whatever. Right. This is rent. Some of these people, some of these studios is $1,300, $1,500 a month. Light, gas, internet, cable, heat, you know, all the stuff that has to be paid for. But if that's what you're doing, say that. Say that. I don't think any dance instructor, I think every dance instructor should know their work. And if you are a dance instructor and you're running a dance school, then people have to understand that this stuff got to be paid for. That's not the people I'm talking about. I'm talking about the frauds that sit back and try to act like, oh, I'm doing all of this because I love the kids. No. And when I was a kid, there was so much stuff going on that it was sad. I have been personally accused of so many things that I really didn't do. Some of it I wish I did, because I still had to go through the mess, even though I didn't. But one thing about me was, if I did it, I did it. And most of the times, if I did something wrong, I didn't mean no harm. But it's a lot of stuff going on right now that I fault the parent. Sit in a practice. Know where your kid is at. Know what they doing. Know who they hanging with. Your 14, 15-year-old son and daughter should not be hanging out with the adults doing what the adults do. If they can't do it in your house, they shouldn't be able to do it in nobody else's house.
Period. So don't say you trying to help me, you trying to make me be a better person when you trying to bite at my. Don't do it. Don't mix them. If you want to do it, do it. Can't nobody tell you what to do with your life. But don't play with kids and don't play with nobody else's kids. I will kill for mine. I will go to jail for mine. My grandbabies, my little sister, man, we would load up that van. I drive a 16-passenger van every day just to make room in case we have to load it up. We will come to your practice and we will beat you. That's why I stay back. Now, if you ain't guilty of nothing I'm talking about, I ain't talking about you. But if you're guilty of anything that I'm talking about right now, you want to talk to me about it later, we can't. Because when I caught myself doing some things I ain't had no business doing, I repented and I ain't do it no more. Because sometimes you can mess up and don't know you messing up. I got caught up in the lifestyle so bad, and I got caught up in the celebrity of it all so bad that I looked around, man, and I didn't even know who I was. All I knew that I'm Darnell Payne of UphiU. That's a title. That's not who I am as a person. And when I came to myself, I realized that ain't what's up. That ain't what's up. So to answer your question about how do I feel about the dance, I'm split. I have mixed emotions about how I feel about the dance teams right now. There's so much stuff going on the internet right now that I refuse to touch because I should be cheering for you just as loud as you cheering for me. If I got a project coming up, I should support your project and I should be clapping and cheering for you. Because guess why? Because when my project come up, I'm gonna want somebody clapping and cheering for me. But that's not just dance group. That's across the world. That's some Chicago stuff. That's some Atlanta stuff. That's Miami stuff. If people can learn that you're next in line for your blessing, they would be blessed. They would be abundantly blessed. If they understood the placement of their blessing. While I'm hating on you, you got a new dance video coming out. But because you didn't ask me to be in it, that makes your dance video what? Bad? It makes it not of good quality? No, nigga, you just ain't in it. So guess what? Go get you some dance. Go get you some choreography. Go get you some music and put your own thing out there. And then you ain't got to worry about what nobody else doing. There's a situation right now that makes my heart hurt because we have lost some phenomenal people within these past 12 months. I'm gonna try to keep this brief and I'm gonna try to keep it contained because I don't want to make nobody. I don't mind about making nobody mad, but they don't want it. They don't want the backlash from it. So let me just keep it as cute as I can. People die. Instead of mourning the loss of the death, we're so busy trying to fight each other about petty, insignificant stuff. It's almost like it. Man, I think y'all made me mad. It pisses me off to my core to understand how are you mad at me for me doing me? If that ain't you, that's fine. I have dealt with everybody. The fat kids, the gay kids, the transgender, the this, that. Guess why? Because I know who I am. And I ain't worried about who you are. Long as what you doing not hurting me or affecting me personally, I could care less what you're doing. But the dance groups now, you got 15 little bitty dance groups that can't raise enough money to do anything. But those presidents can't get together and say, let's combine. Let's be together, we jet. Let's rent this one studio for the month. You practice Tuesday and Thursday. I'll practice Monday and Wednesday. On Saturday, you come in early and you leave at 12. We'll come in at 1 and leave at 5. We have one rent, one light, one gas. But they got to pump it up and say, I got all this and you ain't got nothing. Go grab another dance group that you see that's just first starting out and let them have 3 hours in one of your studios, man.
Facts.
Because the doors are closed and the lights are off. Do you know you'll be blessed by doing that?
Speak.
It makes me so angry. I knew this question was going to come up. And this question makes me madder than any other question y'all can ask me because it's so unnecessary. DJs hating on DJs. But it's all this money out here, and it's all this music out here. You look at you. Okay, so let's pass that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got people out here that don't owe nobody nothing. That's opening up museums, dance schools, where they're really teaching people more than one thing. They teaching ballet, they teaching tap, they're teaching jazz, they're exposing these kids' mind to all these other things. That makes me feel good. Urban art. Man, I rolled past, my mom lives out on Wentworth, and I drove past the urban art, and I just saw UphiU on the side of the building. I had to pull over, man. They don't owe me nothing. Sluggo, Twan, they don't owe me nothing. They don't owe me nothing. I have always respected those men. DJ Sluggo was Housematic back in the day, as far as I was concerned. They always had better music than us. DJ Boo, Sluggo, all of them was Cat, I think it's Fat Cat, all of these DJs back then. Man, Housematic music used to be so much better than UphiU music. But I always admired those guys. But when I got older and I would see them, when I saw them, they'd be like, they knew me. The first time Sluggo looked at me and said, what's up? I'm like, DJ Sluggo knows me. That's what it's about. I'm still in awe of people. Even though I'm Darnell Payne, I go back 1984, I'm one of the founding fathers of I'm still in awe. I still go to these shows and I clap like a fool. I still go crazy over everything. All the videos that come out, I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning watching dance videos because I'm so proud of what my culture has become. But people are going to destroy the culture. They're going to destroy the culture, battling with each other, arguing with each other. You don't have to be in the same team to love what they did. I love all the dance groups, and the ones that I don't like, they know I don't like them, and they know why I don't like them.
Yeah.
Well, let us get these questions. Let's try to answer them quickly as possible because we got a whole lot of them.
So, so the next one is we got Twan. He said, "What was your best show you ever done?"
Biggie died. Biggie got killed, and we went out to the it was in Gary. It was like the Gary Expo Center, and it was like Lil' Kim and Immature and all of them, and they gave us our own green room, and it's still that between that and the Regal. People may not believe it because Regal is so local, but man, the time that when we won the Regal, I knew that my people accepted me. And then, like I said, for a celebrity status or whatever, it was the Gary Expo Center or something like that, Gary, Indiana Expo Center. Right after Biggie had died, we had did this performance in his honor, and we were well received for it. So that was my most, that was the best show that I could remember off the top of my head. That meant the world to me.
Nice.
DJ Clint said, where do you want to see the culture go?
I want us to get out of these walls, man. I want them to do what J-Ron. I want them to do what Bo did. I want them to do what y'all cats doing. There's such a cultural mix now. I don't claim this and I don't own this. This is an energy, man. This is a spirit. Let me keep seeing you on TV. Let me see you traveling. Let me see you blessed. Let me see you expanded. Let me see your money up. Let me see these kids having better uniforms and better opportunities. Let me see it growing. You know, I just want to see growth. I want to see that dance group get to Japan. Not just 4 or 5 of the guys. I want to see the whole plane of 125 people, all footworkers, to go to these other countries and show them what we fought for, what we gave all our energy for. Let the world see that this was not in vain. Mm-hmm. I had to retire. I had to retire my name, but I'm still UphiU. I'm still Chicago dance community forever. But the day that you put these DJs that built the soundtracks to our life on this 747, and you get, see, I'm gonna start naming names. I don't want to start naming names. But when you start getting Dance Force and the Empire and God, when you start putting all these dance groups together and put them on a plane together, and let these other people who are now loving our culture, let them really see what we have to offer.
Right.
That's where I want to see it go. I want to pull up when COVID is over. I want to turn on the Grammys, and not just because we're background dancers for Missy. I want to be the opening act. I want them to see all of you at Bo. I want to see drum. I want to see all these footworking clicks. I want to see them open up the show all up and down the aisles, man. We worked for this. We fought for this. We gave up sports. Some of us dancers, we were never able to do sports because we had practice on Saturday. I want to see this thing go global. I want to see this thing. I cannot wait to walk in the urban art. And I'm collecting some things now together, old UphiU shirts and different programs and stuff. I want my grandkids, I want my great grandkids to be able to walk in there and say, that's my granddaddy stuff right there.
Mm-hmm.
This thing, if it took me from 84 to 2020, I couldn't imagine where else it could take me. I want to be the old 80-year-old man that's still living to tell the story.
Right. Yep. Twan said, what's your top 10 dancers of all time?
Yeah.
The pressure. Well, you went mute.
I'm muted. Hold on.
Okay, you back. I hear you now.
I can't put them in order.
Oh yeah, no order.
So let me just throw out some of my personal favorites. And I'm gonna try not to tell you why, because it'll take forever.
Right.
But I'm gonna throw some names around real quick. Okay. So girls, Davette. You don't know who Davette is? Learn your history. Davette. It was something about that little girl with this little curly little hair. Kenyatta. House-O-Matic Kenyatta. Y'all don't know who she is? Do your research. There was a female dancer out a long time ago. She moved to Vegas and we've lost contact with her. But her name was Inez. My God. I'm gonna do the suburbs real quick. Tamika Caesar. Ivory from House Arrest 2. All the girls in House Arrest 2. Sorry. All the girls in House Arrest 2. If I didn't have the lovely ladies of UphiU, boom. So now let me go to my UphiU. I can't break my girls down. But the Marnies, the Genesis, the Jajaras, the lovely ladies, the women that were in the town with me, the lovely ladies of UphiU, boom. There you go. Take the whole block. They all good with me. Even though Tish is a president, the 16, 17-year-old Tish from the Empire, my God. All right. So they own. Beasting with it. Murder, it's another, it's like Murder Mama or Murder Ma or
Murder Mommy.
Yeah. She, I love her, and I don't know her personally, but I just seen her, and I think, God, I'm naming so many girls because I think women footworkers are everything. It's something about just a woman doing that and banging like a dude that just gets me going. When they can bang hard, like I love it. Yeah. So, all right, so I'll come back to the girls. All right, so guys, God, I'm gonna say his name wrong, but I want to say his name is like Goose.
Old school, right? Talking about old school. Yeah.
I'm always whenever you're talking to me, I'm always gonna go to old school first.
Okay, yeah, you're talking about Goose. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Then there was a guy in House-O-Matic, and I know this is offensive, but Twan gonna help me. He's always looked like he was about 50 years old, even when he was like 20. And he was House-O-Matic. And if you don't know him, you would think that he's absolutely crazy. What is his name? Twan, what is his name? He's not the best looking dude in the face. Stop it. Stop. Twan, help me before I get in trouble.
Hey, Twan. He probably got to log back in.
You talking about
They called him Gruesome.
Yeah, gruesome. Yeah.
Dang, gruesome. Dang.
Gruesome, man. He was he was not the best looking dude, man. No homo.
That's a code.
But golly, when that man danced, he was so ugly and so balled up. He would just go crazy, man. I always thought that this dude was amazing to me, man, because he was a phenomenal entertainer. Then it's hard for me to do single names.
Yeah.
We can do this to 10 o'clock, but I'm gonna finish my old school thing first. There was a grouping of David and Dave, which is the twins,
right?
Neil, Twan. There was a time when that block of dancers back there, you just couldn't touch them. Now there was a lot of other guys that were around them that was supporting cast, and they was raw as hell, but it was a star quality. Adonis, it was another guy named Adonis. There was a group of them that was a core group of Housematic that was amazing. UphiU. Let me switch over to my own group because I ain't naming them other niggas until I get my group out. Make sure that those people I name. Man, the list is so long that it's just so hard for me to name names. But if you talk about the Phillips and the Dominic Yaos and the Mike Andersons and we're not talking about footwork, I'm talking about dancers. When I say dancers, I'm talking about people who thoroughly entertain me as dancers. My son, Six Figures, Alan Wynn. It was something about just how they did things that I really, really enjoyed. So all the Housematic, all the UphiU, all the old school main attraction. Now, nowadays, I'd be remiss without saying Ant Brown. I gotta say Ant Brown. Ant Brown. What people don't understand about Ant Brown was we wasn't footworking before Ant Brown. When Ant Brown and his group came to my group, they didn't want to do the routines. They said that was too gay. That's what the girls do. And they broke off and started going over to a friend's house in the basement. And they would make up footwork routines and bring them back. They came to me one day. I'm like, man, get that. Man, go on. That ain't what we do. But one day they brought a root Starsky Bobo and Twan and all of them came back and they had such a raw footwork routine that we put it in the performance that we were preparing for Kenwood at the time. And then UphiU became identified with footworking, even though we were not a footworking team. We were a dance team. We were a jacking team. We were a juking team, but we wasn't necessarily a footwork team.
That answered the question for you, Clint, because that was the question too. You just answered it.
You just answered Clint question.
Good, I'm doubling
them up.
New guys, man. There's a new, and J-Ron and Bo, right from the start, just count yourself in that group. I'm not gonna talk about y'all because we've already talked. But P-Top, if y'all know who P-Top is, I just like that dude, man. I was 306 pounds a little while ago, and when this little chunky little dude get out there, it's an energy that he has, man, that makes me like this dude. I don't even know him. I never hung out with him, but every time I see him at a show, I'm just like, P-Top, what's up? Like, we've been kicking it for years. Lightbulb is the same way. Them dudes got so much positive, good energy that exudes from them that I respect them so much as the new face of Chicago dance and new face of Chicago footwork. Footwork kings as a whole, you know, Charles and all them, I give them much love and much respect because of what they did and what they added, you know, to the culture itself. And then there's these young guys, I think they're Goon Squad.
Goon Squad,
yeah.
That's why I don't like to name names, but
yeah.
Goon Squad, what Chum is doing with these young, they little, man, and they're not out here trying to reinvent the wheel. They're doing old school style footwork with a new feel to it, but they know the basics. They know where it came from. They are demonstrating the art form of what footwork is, and not just the it's not just about ball them up and bang them.
Yeah.
You could tell that they've been taught their basics. They'll go back and dribble for you. They'll go, you know. I like them dudes.
Yeah.
Oh, Terror Squad. There's 2 girls on Terror Squad. I can't think of their names. They're gonna be so mad at me.
Talking about Lily and
Diamond.
Yes.
Yep.
Every time I see them, they show me so much love, bro. But they'll never come off as pretentious. They'll get out there with the guys and they will bang just like another one of the dudes. And if they got weave or anything going on, they will tear it out of their head if it get in their way, throw it on the ground and footwork on top of it. You got me. You won me over right there. And like I said, I'm not going to name all the UphiU names. I'm not going to name all the Housematic names because I cannot distinguish between them who I like the best. I just highlighted some people who I used to just kind of sit back and groove and like what they did. But all the house.
You good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mickey. So we got a couple more questions.
To Japan, my sister Mickey.
Yeah, Mickey from Japan. She say, how do you feel Chicago footwork culture is now?
It's better than it's ever been. There are more opportunities and more doors are open now than it's ever been. What we do with it, that's up to us. But there are more opportunities now. The fact that we have Mickey on our line right now is an honor in itself. Watch this, Bo Dillo, say the name. Where's she from?
Mickey, Japan.
Where?
Japan, Tokyo.
Tokyo.
Yeah.
We're sitting here talking about footwork in Tokyo. That's mind-blowing.
Crazy.
That's a whole nother group of people, a whole nother culture that looks at what we do and say, I like that. I admire that. I want to be that. That blows my mind to see from whence it came. It blows my mind. It humbles me every day. I'm so honored by that I could play whatever role I played in this thing. It honors me. It humbles me that there are people in places that I'll never probably see that love what we did.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Ken Low-Key, what's going on, bro? He say, what advice would you give footwork group leaders about business and organization?
Ooh, good one.
If you're going to run a business, be a professional. Let's just start right now. Because see, when this is over, I'm going to get a lot of backlash. I'm going to get a lot of inbox about this. I got some chicken in the microwave waiting for me. I'm not going to answer your calls. I'm not going to answer your inbox today. I'm going to get a chance to think about it. But I say this, be a professional. Get some type of morals about yourself. And know that these babies are watching. Just like people were watching me and they took whatever they took from me to develop what they have now, notice that there's people behind you. There are dance group presidents who have kids, their own children in their own group. There's a new generation coming behind you. So be a professional. Shakuna is the 4th generation of dancers in her family. The 4th generation. Her kid, her daughter, there's 4 generations. Great-grandmama, grandmama, mama, Shakuna, and her children are all in the same family of dancers. So somebody else is coming behind you. Somebody else is coming behind you. So be a professional. Get insurance on those kids. If you're going to have them dancing in your studio, if they hurt themselves, be a professional. Get you be legal. Go get your 501c3. Go handle your business. Go get your bank account. If I hire your dance group, I should be able to write you a check and you can deposit it in the bank. I shouldn't have to cash app you or pay you in cash because you didn't handle your business. Leave something behind for these kids where they know that they have something tangible that they can take this dance thing for another 50 years, another 100 years. So my advice to all leaders, all dance teams, all presidents, all CEOs, whatever you want to call yourself, be a professional. because somebody's watching.
Last question from Sluggo. He said, what would the older you tell the younger you now?
God, that's good. That's good. That's good.
That one.
That's good. If me now can go back and tell my younger person something, don't let your dancers hang out with the Housematics. They will quit you. They will leave you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to get that one.
Hey.
No, I'm sorry. I had to get that. Ronnie gonna be on my bumper when this is over. But
oh my God.
No, I can't even stop laughing. Listen to me. If the right now Darnell can go back and tell the younger Darnell what to do, is stick to what I know is right. Never let other people's opinions sway what I know is right. The whole retirement and the shutdown of my group is because I felt like it was time to let somebody else run my stuff. And it ended it because I didn't stay true to my core beliefs and what I knew was to be right. So I would never again allow anybody to tell me that my beliefs and my ideals are wrong or outdated or any of those things. When you know that you're right, and you know that you're right in your spirit, do that. Do what you know, and don't try to be somebody else. I've tried so hard to be somebody else in so many angles in my life. So if the 48-year-old Darnell could tell the 16-year-old Darnell something, is to just be yourself. And you ain't got. I'm good enough. I don't have to be nobody else. What I got to offer and what who I am and what I got to offer is good enough. I don't need nobody else. I don't need nobody else's opinions or thoughts or nothing. I'm good enough. I'm enough. I don't need to be nobody. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I don't have to reinvent myself. I'm good enough.
Facts. But hey, you is right. Them Housematic dudes was stealing everybody.
Girls, everything.
Yeah, they girlfriends.
Hey, don't bring your girl. Boy, you better never bring your girls around, boy.
Don't even bring them to the show. Don't even bring them to the show with you at Housematic was. They'll be like, I'm finna go to the bathroom.
Right.
Next thing you know, you on a bus stop by yourself, boo.
Oh my God, man, that's crazy. But we wanna really say thank you, bro, for taking, like I said, taking the time out of your schedule to even, give us all them gems and that history. You know what I'm saying? Because we really needed that. Especially, I know for me, I needed that because there was a lot of things that I was kind of like, man, what was this? What was that? You know what I mean? And you kind of cleared it up for me.
Yeah. Well, I got a couple things if I can. I'm gonna do it real quick. One, if you're 16 to 21 years old and you do not have your high school diploma, you just never finished school. School is virtual right now, man. I am on the east side of Chicago, 8164 South Chicago Avenue. I got a hotspot, Wi-Fi. I got a laptop. I got everything you need right now to finish. You might be a credit or two away from getting your high school diploma. Call me. Hit me in my inbox. Come to the school. Let me get you through high school. If you're not doing well, because right now everything is virtual anyway. If you're not doing, what else you doing? Ain't nothing else to do. Get back in school, man. Finish your high school education. If you don't get a college degree, if you don't get nothing else, at least finish high school. So I'm at Sullivan House High School. You can come over there anytime. I can get you set up with everything you need. If you ain't got Wi-Fi, I will give you a machine that will generate a high Wi-Fi signal. I will give you a laptop. I will give it to you. Come finish high school. 2, if you don't have a church home and you don't go to church because you think they're going to judge you or talk about you, my pastor and I will both meet them in the parking lot. If I don't care if your hair is green, I don't care if you smell like weed, I don't care if your pants too tight, I don't care what you got going on in your life. Church is the hospital for broken souls. I am located 7023 South Halsted, Elevate Worship Center, Every Sunday morning, 10 o'clock, we get you in at 10. We have you out by 11:30. You still got time to go get something to eat or whatever you're trying to do on Sunday. Come get fed spiritually, man. We're not going to preach you down and we're not going to beat you down. We don't worry about what you got on. We're trying to win souls, not clothes. Man, come check it out. So education and God are very important to me, man. If you need either one of those in your life right now, hit me up. Any dance group, if you got something going on, you want me to be there and be loud, you want a big fat bald head man at your thing, being very loud and crazy, call me. If I like you enough, I'll come out and be loud and crazy. And man, blessings to everybody, man. If I did not say your name, it's not because I have a thing against you. I'm just old. In my latter years, I smoked a lot of weed. A lot of my brain cells are burnt out. Blame it on my head, not my heart, because I love you guys. Don't call me talking about why you didn't say my name. You didn't like my dancing, because I probably would tell you no. But there's a lot of you all that I did like your dancing. I just couldn't think about it in an hour and a half show.
Also, give them your social media platforms.
Yeah, I am Darnell P27 at everything.com. Everything. Instagram.
Say that one more time, bro.
Darnell P27 at Gmail, Yahoo, Instagram, Snapchat, Jack. No, not Jack. All of it. I'm Darnell P27 at anything. And if you Google Darnell Payne, you will find everything. The school, church, everything is Darnell P27 or I'm Darnell Payne. Nobody calls me Darnell. For some reason, I'm always been known in this city by my first and last name, Darnell Payne. If you Google me, you will find me.
Yeah. So the world, there you go, right there. So you can get connected, get in tune, and definitely, if you need those resources, definitely hit them up.
Yeah, thank you once again, brother, for coming on to the show.
You two guys, man. I know we coming off, but Bo and J-Ron, man, mad respect for opening up this platform to the people who came before me and the people who are going to come after me. You don't know where you're going until you know where you've been. I have so much love, respect for you guys. If you ever need me for anything, call me, man. I'm going to rock your shoes real soon, Bo. I just didn't have all my stuff together today. Right. This man's amazing. I know we got to let these people go, but I want everybody who's listening to know these guys don't owe nobody none of this. They have got their own lane. They got their own thing going on. They are teachers. They are amazing dancers. And to put a platform together like this, to give us a voice in our community, oh, my hat is off to you, man, and much mad respect for you.
Oh, facts.
That means a lot, man, for real, for real.
So, so for our next, so I'm gonna start doing this from now on. At the end of the show, I'm gonna let y'all know who's on the next show. So, so for y'all that been pretty much waiting, we got 2 shows. Next show next week, we got the twins, right? And we're not talking about the Les twins.
Right.
We're talking about
Les twins. Shout out to, you know.
Right, but we're talking about Dave and Dave. House-O-Matic twins. They got a story to tell, man. So most definitely want y'all to tune in for next week. And then also the next following week, I ain't saying that one, but that one is gonna be super crazy. Yeah, that one gonna be crazy, right? so yeah, so tune in, stay tapped in. If y'all not following us, follow the Behind the Name
Instagram
_20. Also, you can follow our personal pages, Prince J-Ron, as well as John Budilla King. And hey, that's on every social media platform, Facebook and Instagram. So if y'all want to tap in, please let us know. Twan, any updates for the school?
Yeah, for the art.
Yeah, so we getting closer and closer to that day. We gonna definitely disclose it on the show first. Also, we need artifacts, dance groups, people, industry. If you got any artifacts, flyers, pictures, jerseys, shoes, whatever that's been prominent to your group or your era, please inbox me, call Boo, call J-Ron, me, whatever, get it to us. We're trying to put all this stuff inside the building, so we get into that part. So we're just trying to get everybody artifacts so it can go with their group.
Ask J-Ron who's with my videos.
I ain't hear what he said.
Who was that, Sluggo?
Man, you know exactly who it
I
is.
know exactly who it is.
Wait, what? No, I can't. What he say? I heard J-Ron something.
No, I was saying they can reach out to you too if they need to get to turn their stuff in. Me, you, or Boo, you know, reach out to us to give us the artifacts that we need for the school.
Facts. All right, cool. So everybody, please, if y'all have any artifacts that y'all want to have, you know, showcase for the school, please get in contact with us ASAP. We don't want to leave nobody out.
I'm gonna need y'all to come to my house and drive me around. My inbox is going. Bye. I'll holler at y'all later, man.
All right, bro.
My inbox is going crazy, and y'all got me in trouble, so I might need a ride to work tomorrow.
I got you, bro. All right, bro. Thanks. Salute.
All right.
Hey, for real. Until next time, man. Peace and blessings to everybody, man. For real.
One love.